Howdy ladies and gents, it's the Fat Loss for Humans Q&A. First question from Tanya, who asks, I'm struggling to train in the cold weather. What are your best pre-workouts, bearing in mind that I'm not good at eating before any of Danny's tough workouts, but I'm lacking energy in the cold weather? You could suggest to Danny to make the workouts easier, but we both know that's not going to happen. So what I would do, if you're not a big fan of food or eating a lot beforehand, caffeine would be my go-to. Nice little black coffee, half hour, 45 minutes beforehand, that'll give you a nice little kick. If you're really low on energy, then you could maybe bring in like a Lucozade or some kind of sports drink, just something with enough kind of glucose in it that you're going to feel a benefit in session, but not so much food that it's going to bulk you out. Apart from that, if you're training in the morning, you could plan to have a slightly higher carb meal the night before. That way the glycogen's in the muscles ready to roll. Then you can do the coffee or whatever beforehand and you should have enough stored in the muscles to get through Danny's beasting of a session. Question. This one's from Manjinder. How you doing, buddy? Who asks, eating before the gym. I finish work at 4, get home at 5. I then want to go to the gym, but I'm always hungry, surprisingly. He puts in brackets. So I always feel it's a choice between eating or gym. And if I eat, I won't go to the gym. But if I go to the gym, I feel my energy levels are not where I want them to be. Help! What I would do, I would go straight to the gym from work. Don't go home, because that's the way a lot of gym sessions get missed. So what you could do, have a piece of fruit in the car, or like a protein bar or a little snack, just something that's easy to carry around, so you kind of have a little snack on the way to the gym, just enough to kind of pep you up for the session ahead. Or you could just kind of plan to have a slightly bigger lunch, so that way yeah, it carries you through your session. But yeah, just find a way of getting something in beforehand, but don't go home and eat, because once you're sat there on the sofa with a full belly, you ain't moving. Right, next question from Baz, who asks, when weight training, what's the best way to tackle a plateau? There's a few different ways. So I would say first and foremost would be frequency. So let's just pick an exercise. Let's say you're trying to get better. You've plateaued at squats and you're trying to get better at squats. So if you're squatting once a week, up that to twice a week. If you're squatting twice a week, take it to 3, and so on. If you've already tried that, then you could look at changing around by the way, so the frequency is probably the first one to go to. So if you're only sort of squatting once a week, definitely go to 2 and you'll gain quicker, no doubt. Secondly, what was I going to say? Set some reps. So if you're consistently doing kind of 3 times 10 or 3 times 15, try up in the weight, but bringing the reps down. So instead of doing 3 sets of 10, you maybe try 5 sets of 5, but with a heavier weight and a slightly longer rest period. Thirdly, you could add in accessory exercises. So let's pick a different one. Let's say you're getting stuck on bench press, your traditional bench press. So maybe you add in some additional tricep work because you're struggling with the lockout. So maybe you do some skull crushers or overhead tricep extensions or some narrow grip benching to kind of really focus on the triceps. It's kind of knowing what you're trying to progress on. So if it's particular, 1 or 2 particular lifts, look at the kind of the supplementary exercises that can strengthen those muscles that might aid with that lift. But yeah, any further questions on that, give us a shout, because I'm happy to go into more detail. Right, final question. This one's from Gemma, who asks, my downfall is sweet things, mostly chocolate, which I crave after almost every meal. I know I can kick sugar as I've done it before and got results, and weirdly had less cravings, but are there good sugars that would stop my cravings without completely having to give up on the sweet treats? So there's a number of ways you can kind of tackle this. So if it's chocolate specifically that you're craving, chocolate's like a combination of sugar and fat. So it might be the sugar that you're craving, or it might just be the fact that it tastes really good, because normally when you combine sugar and fat, that's what happens. And it's not really having like a piece of chocolate or a chocolate bar after a meal. It's not doing any harm to the diet. Like sugar itself isn't inherently evil or detrimental. It just tends to be that chocolate in particular, or sweet treats and stuff, it's just really easy to overindulge in it. So you can either kind of portion control stuff, so you're just like, right, I'm going to have 2 squares of chocolate and that's me done, or you can kind of not keep it in the house. Now if you finish if it's like a constant theme of every time you finish a meal and you're like, man, I'm still hungry, most obvious thing to do would be to kind of increase the portion size of the main meal. And you could do that by either, you know, if you bump up protein content a little bit, that's going to do a better job of filling you up. If you think it is like a carby kind of sweet craving, then you could increase the carb portion of your meal. Or if you really fancy like something sweet afterwards, you can make a conscious effort to reduce the portion size of the main meal, because that kind of gives you that calorie allowance then where you can have that piece of chocolate or chocolate bar and it doesn't lead to any kind of unnecessary weight gain. One thing I would say, knowing how you train, which is hard, it's kind of normal. Like when you go through them exhaustive sessions in the gym, you will crave glucose, carby sort of foods, because you're kind of emptying the stores in that session, especially when you're doing you know, big compound lifts, minimal rest. And it's just knowing, so a bit of sugar then or something sweet, it's actually quite good because it's kind of refueling you for the next session. It's just knowing, you know, how much to take in. And if you have a little play with it, you know, keep an eye on the scales, you should be able to still enjoy a sweet treat or two, which is a good thing, right? Thank you very much for the questions, guys. I'll do this again next week. If you have any sort of feedback on this video or any sort of questions that have been brought up, feel free, drop them in the box below. And I'll speak to you again soon. Enjoy the weekend. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Yeah.